Now, a diplomatic row between Kenya and the Democratic Republic of Congo appears to be cropping up. Well, this follows the announcement of a new alliance between Corneille Nangaa and the M23 rebels.
That's all the talk right now in Kenya. It's all the talk of the diplomatic spot that is happening between Kenya and Congo. And Congo actually recalled the ambassador to Kenya. He was recalled, and it means that the diplomatic relations between Kenya and Congo is going to get worse. And this is after Congo actually kicked out the Kenyan troops that were in Goma because they suspect, or they even had evidence that these Kenyans had gotten too comfortable with Rwandan proxies in Congo, you know, the M23. And there was evidence. I made a video about it. You can go to my channel and look for that video. And yesterday, another thing happened. Is the day before yesterday, on Friday, the leader, this man here, his name is, Corneille Nangaa. He formed an alliance in French called Alliance Fleuve Congo, or the Congo River Alliance. And he is a Joseph Kabila man, as I said in a previous video, because he was the leader of the electoral body. The electoral body was there to rig election on behalf of Joseph Kabila, and then he also had been given about 9 mining mines, mines. So there were like 9 mines where you find gold and cobalt in the Tanganyika region and part of Katanga province. Those mines he had been given by Joseph Kabila. And then when Felix Tshisekedi became the president and started fighting those people who were looting Congo, he was one of them, and those 9 mines were reverted back to the government. So he got bitter. He became an opposition politician, got out, and now on Friday, he met with the leader of M23, which is the Rwandan soldiers in Congo, and also another man from another South Kivu Tutsi rebel group or fighters called the Twirwaneho. And the 3 of them, now these 2 are the Rwandan proxies in Congo, and this Kabila man, they formed this alliance, the Congo River Alliance. And it took place in a Nairobi hotel, right? It took place in a Nairobi hotel, one of the top hotels in Nairobi, and they called hundreds of journalists to cover that event. And it kind of was supposed to be a celebration of 2 forces coming together to fight Congo. So that's why Congo now has almost cut diplomatic relations with the Kenya. And after they did that, now the Prime Minister in Kenya issued this statement. He says that basically he gave this statement, as you can see, and saying that Kenya strongly disassociates itself from any utterances or activities likely to injure the peace and security of the friendly nation of Congo, and has commenced investigation to determine the identities of the makers of the statement and the extent to which the utterances fall outside the constitutionally protected speech. Okay, whatever they said is in Kenya constitutionally is not wrong, so there is no action that is going to be taken against him, because in Kenya there is the free speech. You can say anything. You can insult the president and get away with it. We do it all the time on Twitter. But what is happening in Kenya is that the leaders of these rebel groups operating in Congo live comfortably in Kenya and Uganda. But they prefer Kenya because it's slightly far away from, where they're operating. Their families and their children attend international schools in Nairobi. They live comfortably. And they have investment. Some of them have actually invested in the real estate. They have houses and apartments where they collect rent. And it's a fact. I know that because this leader of M23, I know 2 of his apartments in Nairobi. I'm not saying this because I've had it. It's something I can confirm. If the Kenyan government wants me to go and present those facts, they should invite us. I'll go there and tell them, Bisimwa owns that and that. Just look up the companies that own those apartments, and the owner is him. So they loot Congo and invest in Nairobi. They loot Congo, invest in Kigali. They loot Congo and invest in Kampala, Uganda. I think one of the famous malls there called Acacia is owned by these people. So that's what happens. And Paul Kagame, he runs a team of Rwandan intelligence officers. As a matter of fact, the Rwandan embassy in Nairobi is full of spies from Rwanda. They work from there looking for Rwandan opposition and dissidents, what Paul Kagame calls dissidents, or people who oppose him. So they look for them and assassinate them. So they own Nairobi. They own apartments. Rwanda has invested in properties in Nairobi so that they can keep these intelligence officers pretending to be investors in Nairobi. And immediately after the current Kenyan president was sworn in, the president of Rwanda flew to Nairobi to meet him at his own private residency, as you can see from this photo here. And he was there to congratulate him before he was even confirmed as the winner. So he just went there because the results on the electoral body in Kenya showed that he was leading. So Paul Kagame went there to congratulate him and to ensure that if he takes power or he's sworn in, the interests of Rwanda are protected. And that's what he's trying to do today. They are trying to work with Paul Kagame and isolating Congo. While the previous president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, had actually identified Congo as the future of Kenya. And that's why he went there with the Kenyan investors and they invested in banks. Currently, one of the second largest or maybe the largest bank in Congo is from Kenya. It's called Equity Bank. Today in Congo, it's called Equity Bank Commerciale du Congo, or the Commercial Bank of Congo. So it is as the effort of the previous president, Uhuru Kenyatta, and the current president, Felix Tshisekedi. But now, the current president of Kenya, Ruto, is undoing that. He's breaking the relationship between Congo and Kenya because Paul Kagame is lying to him. And I keep saying this. For the East African community to work, for the East African community to reach the aspiration of the community, it will have to do so without Paul Kagame. They can only achieve that without Rwanda. But the moment Rwanda and Paul Kagame are still part of East Africa or the East African community, then it's going to fail. It's going to break up into parts very soon. And I am telling this to Congo. You better get out of the East African community and go back to South African Development Community, SADC. Because you have seen this, you can't trust these countries. You can't trust Uganda. You can't trust Kenya. And you can't trust Rwanda, definitely. So you are left with Burundi and Tanzania. So you'd rather form a union with them, form a coalition between Tanzania, Burundi, and Congo, and then SADC. The good thing is, Tanzania also belongs to SADC, so you don't even need to form a new coalition. But that is a fact. And that is the kind of diplomatic situation that we are having in Kenya right now, because of the Kenyan government working with Rwandan government and trying to destabilize and overthrow the government in Kinshasa, because that is what they are saying. And as for us, the Kenyans, we were hoping to work with Congo, to go to Congo, live in Congo, invest in Congo, invite the Congolese people to come to Kenya to work with us. But that is not going to happen.